We see the United States as a Western country. In many ways, they also look like us. Their population is about 317.6 million, and they have, through times, been a leading factor in economy, military, and cultural development. They have been a major part of making the UN Declaration with Eleanor Roosevelt, and they try to enforce them in other countries. You could say that America has been a father of countries. They must comply with human rights. They are pretty equal, right? Unfortunately, they're maybe not as equal as they seem. The US got two major problems when it comes to equality: racial and wealth inequality. America is known as the land of the free. You can be who you are and America will stand up for you. But does that include the racial difference? America is one of the countries in the world with the most different big groups of people. But even though there is such a difference in the US, they have an impressive story about racial war and discrimination throughout their history. There have been slavery, the American apartheid, and most current, the war against terror. Today there are no more signs, no laws against races, and no public discrimination, although the racial inequality has taken another form and do still exist. Already as young, the non-white have an impaired chances of success. Racial difference is still laying deep down in the American society, and that's why we see Afro-Americans and Latinos are still more than twice as likely to drop out of an education than white students, and have bigger chances of going to jail and getting dragged into criminality. This seems like a thing that the police is totally aware of. Studies show that in New York, 80% of the stops made by the NYPD were blacks and Latinos compared to 8% of the white people who were stopped. It is also concluded in another study by the U.S. Bureau of Justice Statistics that a black male born in 2001 has a 32% chance of going to jail in his lifetime, while a Latino male has only 70% and a white male only 6%. If a non-white person against the odds finish an education, they will be paid a lot less in the labor market. Statistics shows that the median wealth of a white householding is 20 times that of a black householding and 18 times that of a Latino householding. The wealth gap between white and African American families nearly tripled from 85,000 in 1984 to 336,500 in 2009. The financial crisis hit in 2008. The white population could see their poverty rate rose to 9.4%, while the rate for Asians, Latinos, and African Americans rose to 22, 25.3%, and 25.8%. Let's move on to our second problem, because the US is one of the most unequal when it comes to wealth. They even have a term for it called the wealth gap. Wealth includes the values of home, automobiles, personal valuables, businesses, savings, and investments. Most current statistics come from President Obama's 2014 State of the Union address, reported that the top wealthiest 1% possesses 40% of the nation's wealth. The bottom 80% owns 7%. The top 1% also owns about 50% of stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. The gap between the top 10% and the middle class is over 1,000%. That increased another 1,000% for the top 1%. All this leads to America being at the 46th place over the list of income equality, and that's under countries like Cameroon, Iran, and Nigeria.